Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the CPS Reports, and we are back. Well, I am back this time. As you can see, I'm not with the panel, but I will be reporting on some of the cool fights that were taking place this weekend. So you know what time it is. It is time for us to do a preview of one championship. Let me bring it up on the screen for you there. So this Friday we have one Friday fights 80 Rak taking on Yodnumchai. That is Friday, 20 September at 2:30 South African time. Let me break this card down for you. So I'm only going to go through three fights. To be honest, I'm going to go through three fights. These are the fights that I know personally. I've seen these fighters fight before, so I can give you some kind of perspective on them. This of the card is pretty much filled up with a bunch of debutants or kind of like fighters that only really fought maybe once or twice in the one championship. However, that being said, one championship never fails to put on a boarding fight card. Almost all their fight cards are always just absolutely amazing. It always brings the heat. You know, there's a lot of knockouts, a lot of finishes. Everyone just goes in balls to the wall. So it's always exciting fights. Without further ado, let me start with the main event. We have Rak Erwan taking on Yodnumchai. I think this is an atomweight bout. So I'm going to start with Rak Erwan. I've seen him fight before. He has become one of the fan favorites in the one championship. As you can see on screen, his record in one championship is currently 4-2. 2 wins by knockout, 1 win by TKO, and a 75% finishing rate. And if you look at these strikes thrown per minute, 6.97. Well, roughly, let's put the estimation. Let's go to the next nearest decimal and make it 7 strikes per minute. So that's a very, very active fighter. Rak, coming from I think if I'm not mistaken, he fights from the orthodox stance, but he has a very good way of switching between the two. He goes for finishes all the time. The guy never fights to sort of just win on points, although he has it in his locker to do that. And you could see that in the fight when he fought with Nicholas Silva as well as Shuto Sato, although he knocked Shuto out. Rak has got just a very flawless way of putting on forward pressure and backing up his opponents to the ropes or the cage and just keeping it in the phone booth situation. You will see him throw a lot of leg kicks, a lot of teep kicks, but usually his go-to move is to throw down the 1-2 down the pipe and just putting people down that way. Very, very amazing boxing combinations. Almost slightly different to what you will see traditional Muay Thai fighters throw. He's got a little bit of a Western style, although it's not 100% there. The fact that he has a little bit of a different style to traditional Muay Thai fighters makes him a bit of a puzzle for your traditional Muay Thai guys. And also only taking 2 losses to Song Chai Noi, who is also a big fan favorite, but Song Chai Noi has got heavy hands, like extremely heavy hands. So I can understand the loss against the 2 losses, and it's the only 2 losses that he has in the one championship as well against Song Chai Noi. And also Song Chai Noi, like I say, heavy hands. So that was one of the fights. Those are the fights where you notice Rak was tentative. He was a bit cautious, throwing down his shots. He was a bit hesitant in that fight, but I can understand why. Because once you get caught in a line of fire with Song Chan Noi, you can bet you're going to probably get knocked out. But Rak, just coming back to Rak as a fighter, I think is the reason why he's a fan favorite. He just puts on exciting fights all the time. So seeing him in the headline is a good move from the one championship for this Friday. Let's talk a little bit about his opponent in Yodnumchai. 5-0. You know what that means. The guy hasn't taken the loss, which means he's been absolutely flawless. 3 wins by KO, 1 win by TKO, and also a very high percentage finishing rate with 80%. Granted, these percentages is only really calculated in the one championship. So although the number is quite high, although the number is quite high in terms of finishing rate, you can only really count the fights that he has done in the one championship, which is only 5. That being said, I'm not taking away from the person from Yodnumchai's record. I do think it's still absolutely amazing because considering fighting the one championship, people are getting knocked out almost every single weekend. So, so if you come into the one championship with that kind of record, it's really something to run home with. And then also again, 3 strikes thrown per minute, so he's a little bit more calculated, which explains his finishing rate. He looks for the kill shot rather than getting into a fisticuff and just throwing a bunch of shots around and hoping to land once you get close to your opponent. Yodnumchai is a lot more calculated than Rak. So you can look for a stylistic fight here where you can see Rak to put on the forward pressure and kind of get the fight in his pace. And then you can look for Yodnumchai to almost slow the fight down, be a little bit more calculated, utilize a lot of deep kicks, maybe a lot of low kicks as well, to sort of open up his opponent. And you can expect from round 2 onwards a high pace to sort of be activated from the second round onwards. Who do I think is going to win? I'm leaning towards Rak, but that could just be because I'm biased towards Rak. I think he's a fun fighter to watch, but he is going up against someone who's extremely deadly and very accurate in the way he puts his fights or sort of gets his finishes. As you can see on the screen, 3 fights in 2024, so he's a very, very active fighter, barely taking any damage, which kind of helps him take this amount of fights. So who do I think is going to win? I'm going to lean towards Rak and bias the side. I just think his pressure might be the thing that's going to get him the win here. He's going to be putting on. He's going to be looking to put Yodnumchai on the back foot, and it's very difficult to fight off the back foot. Granted, these Thai fighters fight amazing off the back foot, but it does deplete your gas tank a little faster than having to walk forward. So Yodnumchai, if he can survive the pace of Rak, I think he can get his kill shot in there. Probably look to have one of those counter elbows that we saw Superlek did to landed on Jonathan Haggerty. So yeah, let's see how this fight plays out. I'm going to lean towards Rak. Let me know in the comments what do you think and who you think is going to get the win of that main event. We move on. Let me just put my marker in there. We move on. Co-main event, we see Petnamngam taking on Chartpayak. This is going to be a very exciting fight because we have a good stylistic battle over here. We got Petnamngam, Petnamngam. I'm going to start with him. Catchweight Muay Thai record in the One Championship is not the greatest. 1 win, 1 loss, 0 no contest. That's 1 win by unanimous decision and also 1 loss by unanimous decision. He's got 3.72 strikes thrown per minute, which is relatively active. That means he's looking to push the pace for the most part of the fight. Excuse me. Although, like I said, I didn't say this before, but he is the older fighter coming into this one. He's 29 years old, whereas his opponent in Chartpayak is only 25. Interesting thing about this fight is if you look at on the screen, the last fight that Petnamngam has fought is against Amir Abdul Muslimov, who fought literally last week and unfortunately lost his fight. So that will make back-to-back losses for Amir. But coming into this one, Petnamngam is a little bit more of the cautious fighter, or the more calculated fighter. So he looks to throw heavy shots, but not as how do I say? The volume is not as much. It's more about looking for that correct shot and then land it. You can look for him to throw shots from his strong left hand or left elbow, and a lot of the left body kicks as well. Let's move it on to his opponent in Chartpayak. This is my guy. I've seen him fight before in the One Championship, and he's absolutely amazing. Very fun. He's always puts himself like in the line of fire, getting caught in a lot of fisticuffs, but always comes out on top. Funny enough, which is quite interesting. The record in the One Championship, as you can see, is 3-0, 3 wins, 0 losses, 0 no contests. Just 3 wins by knockout, 100% finish rate. But the most staggering statistic about Chartpayak is his strikes thrown per minute, 11.25. That is fucking insane. This man is throwing 11.2 strikes per minute. That's like, he's going into your face and he's just not afraid to be in there. Probably take a shot to get a shot. He has done that before, take a shot to get a shot. And what's amazing is that if you look at his wins, his last 3 fights, in the One Championship, all of it in the first round. Granted, I'm not going to mention some of the opponents he fought just because I haven't really seen them fight frequently enough to sort of talk about them and how significant those wins are. But it is amazing to see someone get 3 first round finishes in the One Championship. But again, we just bring it back to that significant strikes thrown per minute, 11.25. That is a scary thing to fight against. To have an opponent come at you and it's virtually. It's like fighting against a fucking robot. It's like this person is just throwing kicks and punches every freaking second. And how do you navigate that? And it's a very good stylistic battle for the 2 fighters. Who do I think is going to win? I'm going to have to go with my guy, Chartpayak. I think he's the more active guy. Not necessarily in terms of how many times he's fought, but in terms of how active he is in the fight and the amount of volume of strikes that he throws. I have seen him take a shot before and get rocked in a couple of the fights, but he always pulls through. And like I said, the amount of volume of strikes that he throws is always overwhelming. So I'm gonna tip my winner for Chartpayak. Let's move on. Also, just let me know in the comments who you think is going to get that co-main event. All right, the last fight I'm going to do is Kongkai taking on Deniz, Denmirkapu, and this is the main event for the undercard. So this is the main fight before we move on to the main fights. This is going to be hella entertaining, I can tell you now. Let's start with Kongkai, catchweight Muay Thai. Record doesn't look the greatest in the one championship, but that is 2 wins, 5 losses, and 0 no contest. He's got 1 win by knockout, 1 win by TKO with 100% finishing rate. However, if you look on screen, the strikes thrown per minute with 0.83 differential is not the greatest, which means he's not necessarily the most active. But the one thing you can expect from Konkla is he's going to fight with his heart. He's going to put in, he's going to put in everything. That's one thing I noticed when I watched these fights, especially noticeably the ones against Sen and Super Bowl. Notice I put it on the screen because those are 2 fantastic names that he lost to. So although it says that he lost to those fighters, I want to just highlight that those are 2 very, very high level Muay Thai practitioners in the one championship, especially Super Bowl, sorry, because I think he's a former Lupini Muay Thai champion, if I'm not mistaken. You can check in the comments and let me know if I've got that one correct. But anyway, Konklai, fantastic guy to watch. He's very young, 25 years old, so he's got a future ahead of him. And also, he's got a lot of power. I just think the speed is where he's lacking. And I think that's where he gets caught most of the time, is where the other fighter overwhelms him with the barrage of strikes and a very, very good shot selection as well. Taking out his legs, throwing body, then an elbow, body shot, then a left hook. And a lot of fighters take him out in that way because you find Konklai getting caught up in those kind of exchanges, and it's not necessarily what I would like to see him do. I like to see him be a bit more stick to his guns, where he's like, the calculated guy, and not allowing his opponent to sort of pull him in, push him back, excuse me. Konklai does his best work when he's pushing fighters backwards, and he's on the front foot, like most fighters are. But Konklai, like I say, he's got that power, that power advantage. Come on, mouse. So let's talk about his opponent in Deniz, Denmirkapu, also catchweight Muay Thai. Record in the one championship is 1 win, 1 loss, 0 no contest. That's 1 win by KO with 100% finishing rate. Again, like I just said, one of the weaknesses for Konklai is we've been overwhelmed by a barrage of strikes. That's why our opponents usually beat him, because he's a bit slower to pull the trigger. And if there's an advantage in this fight for Deniz, it would be that he's got the highest strikes thrown per minute at 5.8, which is really good. He's also a very active guy. So he's fighting out of Turkey, Morocco's what you see on the website under his name. And what we know about these kind of fighters, you just look back at Friday Fight 79, Sen, Turkish fighter. You look at his style, very high guard, very straight up, not necessarily tucked in, or not necessarily out with the hands like the Muay Thai guys. Got more of a bounce on the balls of their feet, so they got a little bit of the kickboxing style, especially the way they throw their strikes, which is not necessarily a traditional Muay Thai style. So that means Deniz is going to be looking to throw a lot of deep kicks, looking to throw a lot of jabs, and sort of be the one that's dictating the pace. And again, if he utilizes the high pressure and high volume of strikes, I could see Deniz getting the win here. But I'm going to go with my guy, Konklai. I'm going to have to go with the Thai guy. I think he's got more power. I think he's got more. He's going to be more calculated. I hope that he doesn't get sucked into just a full-out brawl, which is what we've seen him do in the past, and that's usually how he loses his fights. If he can be a little bit more calculated in this one, and not be discouraged by the pace that Deniz is going to put on, and Konklai comes out victorious in this fight and probably going to win by unanimous decision. I can see him giving up the first round, not intentionally, but giving up the first round. And then you can see round 2 and 3, Konklai is going to put on that pressure. But anyway, that is my time, ladies and gentlemen. Let me just quickly give me a second. Yep, bring that back up on the screen over there. That is my time, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for watching. And thank you for the support to the channel. We completely love it over here. Myself and the panel, we just love the support and also the engagement from all of you. It really brings a big smile and joy to us, and also helps us continue to do this. So please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I know you're all doing it already, but just continue to do that and get involved with the conversation. This is one Friday Fights, Intro-Rak taking on Yodnumchai, and you can expect that fight to be on the one championship, that fight card to be on the one championship YouTube page this Friday, 20th of September at 2:30 South African time. You can catch the recap of myself and the panel soon after the event is over. And yeah, that will be me, guys. Always love it, always appreciate it. I love talking about it. So thank you all for being there with us. And looking forward to seeing you on the next one. Enjoy the fights. Cheers.